UI right now at soundbeat.org. Soundbeat is produced at the Belfer Audio Archive, Syracuse University Libraries. I'm Brett Barry.
KAKU.
I just fill awkward silences with my laughter.
88.5 FM. It's time to pound the poi.
Only in a college, but also, they're being taught by professionals. Anyway, there's a lot to say about Hisako Film Lab. It's named after Destin's grandmother. It's a magnificent thing that they're doing. It's run primarily, Destin oversees it, but his sister Joy and his brother-in-law Brad are the ones who are ostensibly running it. They're doing a magnificent job. I shouldn't say ostensibly. I mean, they're running it. They're doing a terrific job. So all that to say, sorry for the long build-up, but there was an event at the Maui Mall this past Sunday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, where Destin showed up, and, it was a wonderful homecoming, and we're all like, hey, man, like,
congratulations.
good job on the movie. Good job on Spider-Man. Yeah,
nice.
Spider-Man's fantastic. But he took the opportunity to just really showcase these young filmmakers, which was the coolest. And they had the posters of their student films up at the theater, which was a lot of fun. And then we got to actually watch the movies on the big screen. And two of the films were really dark thrillers. I'm like, oh, man, like,
really?
This is up our alley. Yeah,
wow,
like some really
nice.
like edgy kind of violent films. Like, this is great. And then the Hisako Film Lab logo came on. It faded to black, and suddenly it was the Sony logo. Like, oh my gosh, it's an encore showing of Spider-Man: Brand New Day.
Wow!
So
nice.
it was so cool. So obviously, this is an opportunity to say thank you, everybody at Hisako Film Lab. Thank you, Destin Daniel Cretton. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Joy. Thank you, everybody. It was a really special time, and it was a chance to see
mini film festival.
Yeah, like a little mini film festival, a little mini film festival, but it was very special.
Awesome, awesome, cool, and I didn't realize that Melia.
Yeah, Melia.
Diliberto is, she works over here. Her dad is one of the managers here. Lou.
Yes.
Yes, and I didn't realize that she was a part of the program.
She is so talented. She's a good actress. She's a good filmmaker.
Awesome.
It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if she's a name who, within 10 years, everybody knows who she is. She's very talented.
A lot of those kids also got a chance to go to the premiere.
They went to the premiere. They went to Comic Con. Yeah, it's been a rough summer.
Lucky kids.
It's pretty dang cool. No, it's so amazing because you and I we've been. I mean, I'll speak for myself. Ever since Short Term 12, I've heard of Destin Cretton. It's so cool now that a lot of the friends that I have, like in the stateside, whatever. I don't like to say the mainland. It's like the mainland. Come on. So like in Pennsylvania, Colorado. All over there, I keep hearing, like, oh, Barry, it's so amazing. Like, I keep hearing about Destin Cretton. Like, yeah, man, he's one of us. But like, he's becoming a household name, is what I'm trying to say.
That's great.
It's just the coolest thing. He's doing good work, and he's a cool, humble guy who's trying to, as opposed to just being all about him, he's trying to not only share his success, but enable young people to strive to be filmmakers, which is, we need that. Yeah. I want that. I think we all do.
I hope we get to see something that is non-Marvel from him in the future, because he has such a dynamic and storytelling and everything. So I can't wait to see maybe if he takes on like a regular thriller, or I can imagine him doing like a kung fu buddy comedy, like kung fu buddy cop kind of comedy, like a Rush Hour kind of deal.
Yeah, I can see it. I mean, one of the things. Because I'm kind of like you. Like, I look at his body of work and I'm like, okay, there's a 5-year gap. What else has he been up to? He's done a lot of television.
Okay.
So like, he was a writer and a producer on Tokyo Vice, which was the Michael Mann show that was on HBO for a while. There's a few of those kinds of projects.
Yeah.
And of course, Avengers: The Kang Dynasty was supposed to be the film that he did, and then of course he segued into Spider-Man instead. So he's kept busy. But you know how it is. Like, that's anybody who has a working career in the film industry, there's always the projects, not that necessarily went away, just that you go, okay, like, you develop it, you work on it, you decide it's going in a direction that doesn't involve me, it's wasn't meant to be, whatever the situation is. There's been a few of those as well. I forgot that he worked on The Shack.
The Shack.
The Shack, yeah, which is, based on the best-selling novel of the same name.
I have not seen this.
It's a very small little film that came out. The lead is, I believe, Sam Worthington.
Okay.
Yeah, it was in theaters for a very short while, but he actually worked in that one as well. Yeah, it's if his body of work. If you look at the IMDb page for Destin Daniel Cretton, it's very eclectic.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I'm also excited about Maui Comic Con news because a woman that I have interviewed here and had the privilege of going to an event here right after the wildfire. She had a fundraising event here on the island where she screened her hit movie Blood Diner.
Yep.
Jackie Kong is going to be a part of the Maui Comic Con this year, among the other many amazing artists and talented people that are also going to be guesting this year at the Maui Comic Con. I'm excited. I have to go.
Yep.
I have to go.
Likewise.
I gotta get. When Jaren shared the information with me, I was like, "Really? What?" And so now I have to go and find me a copy of The Being.
Yes.
Because I have a signed copy of the Blood Diner Blu-ray already from that night. Awesome night. You missed out, by the way. We had fun at the bar. I didn't drink, but I saw like a Vic over there karaoke. I was like, okay, karaoke crowd, okay. But yeah, no, she's such a cool lady. She's awesome. She likes her horror films. She likes her horror comics. She's producing this amazing horror comic series that she has. So I'm excited to see what she brings to the table for this year at the Maui Comic Con, you know. So I got to get a copy of The Being now.
Yes.
Or Night Patrol, or I forget the other film that she did. She did another cool film prior.
Her body work is fascinating. She has a comic book that she did called Fear the Night, which is wonderful too.
Spend the Night.
Spend the Night.
Yes,
Thank you. Spend the Night. Yes, thank you. She's wild. Her body of work is wild. Blood Diner is one of those movies I think people have an idea of what it is and they see it and they're going, "Oh, this is satire. It's shocking. It's very strange.
For
it's
the longest
multi-genre.
For the longest time, I thought it was a trauma film.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was like produced by Lloyd Kaufman and Michael Hurst, but it's not.
Yeah.
Not. But the whole idea of the film, the story of it, I'm like, it's just a cross between Trauma and Herschel Gordon Lewis. So
I think that's very fair, and I think she'd agree with you too. It's crazy, but having had the chance to finally sat down, I think it was like 10 years ago that I finally I'm like, I heard it was gross and shocking. Gross and shocking doesn't necessarily appeal to me. I mean, I like good movies. It's not important to me if they're gross and shocking. I just want them to be good. But yeah, Blood Diner's smart. I was surprised by how smart that movie is. In addition to being disgusting and an assault in the senses at times.
I didn't think it was as gory as maybe the original Blood Feast.
No, it's not. You're right. Yeah, it's
right?
not.
Yeah. So I've seen I've seen so much more nowadays. You know, when people ask me, it's like, what is the goriest movie you ever seen, Tony? And let's lay down titles, but I think at the top of the list is Peter Jackson's Brain Dead, aka Dead Alive, which was the most slimiest thing I ever seen in my life. Amazing dialogue. I mean, I kicked blank for the Lord with a karate kicking priest fighting zombies in the graveyard. I'm like, this is gold. This would be a comic book too at the same time, you know. But Peter Jackson, his early work is very is out there for a New Zealander. I mean, started off with Bad Taste. Yeah. And
Meet the Feebles.
I have yet to see that one.
You'll enjoy it.
I will.
Yeah, I think you will.
I love Heavenly Creatures.
It's a great movie.
Kate Winslet and Melody Linsky. I'm like, when I sat down to watch that movie a long time ago, it was on Showtime, and I was like, I don't know what I'm getting myself into, and it's like a coming of age thriller, and it's before I ever saw Kate Winslet in Titanic. Yeah. So
I think that's the first thing I saw her in too, actually.
Heavenly Creatures.
Yeah.
I don't know what body of work Peter Jackson did after that. I know it kind of like
after Heavenly Creatures came The Frighteners.
That's right, The Frighteners.
Yeah, and that was kind of the build-up to Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, that's right. I keep forgetting that it was Lord of the Rings was shot in his hometown.
Indeed, it was.
Anyways, we got other stuff to talk about. Did you have other things?
Yeah. They had a screening. The Monday Night Mystery movie was a nice surprise. 'Cause, sometimes, every once in a while, they'll show, on a bad week, because Monday Night Mystery Movie, it's $5, 7 o'clock. You don't know what it is. I cheat. I do, because I don't want to see a stink bomb. And I've been to enough Monday Night Mystery movies where I go, oh, that's what I drove all the way down.
Oh, you got a direct line to the theaters, I bet.
Well, what I do is I'm awful. I go on Reddit. I'm like, what are they saying? What is it? And, and I'll read it. Be like, oh, okay, that's one I wanted to see. And that was the situation this week. 2 weeks ago, it was Eli Roth's Ice Cream Man.
We talked about that one last time.
We talked about last episode, and that's a terrible film. This week is a really good movie, and it was Tony, the film about Anthony Bourdain.
Oh, really?
It's a very good movie.
It's a movie, not a documentary.
Yeah, it's an actual film. It's about his life in 1977, summer where he was on an island, and he learned to be. He wanted to be a writer. He learned to be a chef, and it's about him at his most self-destructive, at his most goonish in the way that he acted, and even the way that he looked. The film is not. It's not a love letter to him, which is probably the right way to go. It's about him at a time in his life when he was insufferable, and he had just the right mentor. In this film, it's a chef played by Antonio Banderas in one of his best performances.
All right.
Any great Antonio Banderas performance is something to savor, and this is one of those situations. He might
better than Puss in Boots.
Ooh, that's hard. That's hard because I love Puss in Boots so much. Love Puss in Boots. But this is one of his best performances. Okay. It absolutely is.
Nice.
If he gets an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor, I wouldn't be surprised. That's how good Banderas is here. The film is going to be hard for some people because the first hour of it is just Anthony Bourdain as a young man being terrible.
Okay.
It's off-putting at times, and I do wonder, is a mainstream audience going to go for it? I don't know, but
was he like your basic Italian, thuggish kind of kid?
He's your basic loser who lies every chance he has the opportunity in order to be accepted with people, men or women.
Substance abuse involved?
Yes, lots of it. It is 1977. There's lots of substance abuse. There's lots of questionable behavior, and some of it's really funny, some of it isn't. So the movie could be challenging in that way for people. And I've seen movies about food. We should talk about this, like our favorite food movies. This isn't Chef. This isn't Chef where you feel hungry afterwards.
It's the best movie ever made.
I love Chef. It's not Babette's Feast. It's not one of these movies where you're going to get hungry watching it necessarily. But in terms of a movie about how collaboration in the kitchen can be a way of being a part of some kind of makeshift family, I've had a little bit of that kind of experience. It's very good. Yeah. I'd say 3 out of 4 for me, for Tony.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. I wasn't aware there was even a type of autobiography type movie about his life. I recently saw some trailers that they have the kid that they got to play Sylvester Stallone in the up and coming I Am Rocky movie. Just from the trailer alone, I'm like, who is this kid? Where did he come from? Because he completely transformed himself into Sylvester. Yeah. A young Sylvester Stallone too. So I'm like, this is a movie that I'm interested. There's so many autobiography movies that have already come out. I haven't even watched the Michael movie yet. So
that's a mixed bag.
It is.
Yeah, I can't. It's interesting. I find I've been meeting a lot of young people who love that movie, and they're in their 20s. So it's for a lot of them, it's their first introduction to Michael Jackson. Mm-hmm. And in that way, it's the best possible way to get into Michael Jackson's music and his legacy. So on the one hand, the movie leaves out the stuff you don't want to see or deal with. It doesn't deal with accusations of being a pedophile. It leaves out all that stuff is not in there.
Yeah, I already know that the movie goes from Jackson 5 to the beginning of the Bad Tour.
Yes.
Yeah.
The problem is there's still a lot of stuff that should be in there. And I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan. He wrote a book called Moonwalk. I assume he wrote it, but it's about his life until the Bad Tour. And among the things that he mentions that should be in this movie, it wasn't a crush. He was in love with Diana Ross. He spoke about that. He met her on The Wiz, and this is the love of his life. And she was very cordial, very polite, very smart in the way she handled him because she thought the world of him. But it wasn't that kind of relationship. Whereas
that was touched on a little bit in the
TV movie,
TV movie,
yes, which deals with more stuff than this current movie.
Yeah.
And another one, a big one, and I think Michael Jackson himself would be furious about this, that they made a movie on his life. No, We Are the World. No matter how we feel about that song was not only a big moment for him, but that song meant the world to him.
I guess they didn't have the licensing for that one. That's
Probably,
separate.
yeah. That
That's
might be the
separate,
situation.
so-
Yeah, because Thriller and of course Beat It a reference, but you know, there's some deeper cuts that should be in there too.
It doesn't even go into Moonwalker.
No,
No,
No.
It just stops.
no,
at
no
the
Smooth
beginning of
Criminal,
the-
no, none of that stuff. Yeah,
See, that's the thing I grew up on. I grew up on, like, I knew of his music. It wasn't until I knew of Jackson's life, which is like briefly, like up until that point, put into the documentary, which is the making of Thriller.
yeah.
It's what I lived by. I loved. I would rent the video ever so often from the video store, Paradise Video.
There you go.
So I would rent that because it always starts with the whole John Landis 11-minute Thriller video.
Yeah.
And then goes right into the making of. And then it's like, it showed the side of Michael where I'm like, oh, he's like me. He likes horror movies. He's a cool guy. This is the reason why he did Thriller. You know? And then it doesn't even touch on the whole subject matter of when he released it, he had to put that disclaimer thing at the beginning because it's not his convictions to his religion. It's just complete work of fiction because he grew up Jehovah's Witness.
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, so the movie doesn't touch on any of the Jehovah's stuff either. I bet.
None of that stuff. And you know, that's interesting. It should be there. But yeah, I mean, I get it. They only had 2.5 hours. But there's because here's the thing. I love that you mentioned Moonwalker. I feel like you could learn so much about Michael and his music watching Moonwalker than you can about the movie and the miniseries. What was it? Was it the Jacksons All American Tour? Whatever, All American Journey, whatever that name of that movie was. Came out in '93. Of course, it's a little dated now, but it covers a lot more ground.
Yes.
So I feel like I'm glad people are embracing Jackson's music. The lead performance by Jafar Jackson is extraordinary. It really is. And for that matter, so is Coleman Domingo as Michael Jackson's father. But it just it feels even if fine, you're not going to touch upon the controversial stuff. I get it. But I mean, there's too much stuff that's I mean, this movie should have been 4 hours, honestly. If you're going to cover this era, he was one of the first African Americans to ever have a cartoon character, let alone a cartoon show. They don't address that. And I know some people will be like, Barry, you're being too nitpicky, but there's nothing ordinary about Michael Jackson's life. The stuff that he accomplished was extraordinary. And the movie makes it look like he's like any other pop star. He had a hit and then people are screaming his name and then he does another hit. It's not like that. I mean, it was. There's a lot more depth and a lot more pain, I think, to his real life.
And then when you think about it, though, Bohemian Rhapsody wasn't everything about Freddie Mercury's life as well. You know, it was everything compressed into 2 hours. So
yes,
it's on that kind of style that they do. So you know, I mean, I hope one day they make an autobiographical movie about Madonna. Oh, it's gonna be rated R.
It's got to be rated R. I don't even know where you'd start because I mean, do you start with her as a dancer? Do you start with her being a part of the Breakfast Club? Like, there's some interesting things. I liked what the Springsteen movie did last year. That it was specifically about one album. It was about who he was, and I thought that was a really good angle. Because the Jackson movie is just about Michael Jackson trying to overcome his relationship with his father. Of course, that was a big part of who he was in his life. But there are so many other obstacles that he overcame.
Didn't we have a Bob Dylan movie with Timothy Chalamet?
We did. Yeah, Complete Unknown. Very good movie.
Okay. I have not seen this. These are so many autobiographical movies.
So many.
You know, when they're going to make a movie about the life of George A. Romero.
Oh, yeah.
They should make that's a dramatic film right
That'd
there.
be a fantastic movie. The
Right?
Life of John Carpenter.
Yeah.
The Life of Bob Clark. Yeah.
They've done it before. Didn't they do a movie back in the day with on the life of Lon Chaney?
Yes. Yeah, but we need another one because nobody name should register. I mean, this is a guy with deaf parents, and that's one of the reasons he was such an extraordinary film actor. It's in the silent era because he knew how to perform. You know, like whether you're blind, whether you don't use your voice, there are ways to articulate character and ideas without all of your senses. I mean, Chaney was extraordinary.
Oh, yes.
We need to have a movie about his life. We do.
Yes.
We need a movie about Cassandra Peterson. The Cassandra Peterson story is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
There should be a movie about Cassandra Peterson.
It should.
Yeah.
Well, she's still around.
Yeah.
She's still going.
Oh, yeah.
But she doesn't do the cosplay anymore. She's retired Elvira. That's
You
the
know-
one thing about the convention. She's retired Elvira, but she does appear in person, so.
God bless her. She had her hair in that beehive with that figure hugging, attire for how many decades? Yeah. If anybody deserves to retire, I get it. she's more than blessed us with that character.
I'm also on board for an autobiographical movie about Bruce Campbell too. So.
Oh, that'd be a great idea. I mean, we only have one significant. Well, now it's two. We only have one significant movie really about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We had the film Selma a few years ago, and then they did One Night with the King. But it's crazy that we have. How many movies about Elvis? We got 2 movies tops about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Got one significant one about Malcolm X, although I guess Ali makes 2.
But one movie about Richie Valens?
Yeah. Unless you count, the Buddy Holly story addresses it, but yeah. You know what we don't have? We got a movie about, if you're going to talk about the day the music died, we got La Bamba, we got the Buddy Holly story. We don't have a movie about the Big Bopper.
We should.
Because I hear that's a pretty tragic story too.
Yeah, it is. And
somebody needs to make that movie.
Wasn't there a movie about Patsy Cline's life as well?
Yes, Sweet Dreams. Yeah, with Jessica Lange. Yeah,
Jessica Lange.
She was good.
And then you had Coal Miner's Daughter.
Coal Miner's Daughter, where Patsy Cline, I think, was played by Beverly D'Angelo, if I'm remembering that correctly.
Yeah.
That's a good movie, Coal Miner's Daughter.
Yeah, that's a classic one, too. I grew up watching that with my auntie Dan.
So
Coal
good.
Miner's Daughter or 9 to 5.
Wow.
Until...
No, there's a double feature right there.
Yeah. Until Steel Magnolias came out. So you would be a double feature with Dolly Parton, those 2 movies. And I was too young to watch Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. So
yeah, that was another one my mom wouldn't let me watch till I was older. Same thing. Yeah.
I do remember watching, what is the one with Sylvester Stallone?
Rhinestone. Yes. I bet Sly doesn't. I bet he's not too happy that you've seen that one.
You've seen that one.
I bet he doesn't talk about that one the way we do.
I was talking with somebody about how they didn't know John Travolta. Sylvester Stallone directed the sequel to Saturday Night Live.
Isn't that wild?
Staying
Alive. Yeah.
Yeah, and it bombed.
Well, it bombed in terms because Saturday Night Fever, that was one of those movies that played in theaters for years. And Staying Alive, it made money, but it didn't make as much money, and the critics eviscerated it. It's a cult film now. But
it is cult film, yeah. But I honestly, he goes from being a disco dancer to wants to be a Broadway jazz dancer, but he's oiled up.
Very oiled up. Yes.
What kind of show is this on Broadway again?
Satan's Alley. A literal journey through hell. Yeah, Satan's Alley. Yes.
And it's not Fosse, everybody.
No. But
I haven't watched the Fosse movie. What is that? All That Jazz?
All That Jazz.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. It's not his best movie, and it's very overrated. It deserves its classic status, but Fosse made better movies.
I kind of went down the rabbit hole. I'm like, wait, Fosse also did like actual not only choreography like in the Shirley MacLaine movie, where his famous that I can't do the dance, but this is weird. Yeah, the dance and everybody's like doing all this going on. But
Fosse.
He performed in some kind of like weird artistic art house musical film.
Yeah,
where he's dancing in the middle of the desert.
That sounds about right. He did Star 80, which is one of Eric Roberts' best performances.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. We're just getting into the musical. We should do some reviews now.
We should.
We gave each other movies to watch.
Yes, we did.
I don't know if you want to go first.
I'll go first. Yeah, I'd be happy to.
With Black Roses, because they gave you Black Roses.
Yes, thank you, buddy. Black Roses. I've never heard of this film. Black Roses got a great cover. So Black Roses, this is 1988. This is one of the films that's dealing with the satanic panic.
Yes.
And I love it because it's a horror exploitation movie. This movie, they all have one scene where there's like a PTA meeting and all the members of the town and the mayor, they're going, my kid is listening to this music where these people are screaming and they're saying terrible things. They got long hair. And you got a guy on stage going, no, it's okay. Remember, we used to love the Beatles. Remember, it's okay.
It's all right.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, okay, this movie is smart. It's dealing with the fact that, it's about hysteria. It's about, no. This is an exploitation film. So, yeah, the music is evil. Yes, it is satanic music. Yes, the rockers are the bad guys here. So
definitely.
Okay. All right, movie, if you say so. So, so many things I love about this movie. For one thing, the main characters are young high school students. They all look like they're in their mid-30s.
Definitely.
Yeah. But and this is not the only film to make that mistake.
It's always the case with a lot of the cappy, cheesy '80s horror movies from back then. I mean, Slimeball, Bolorama, they're all 30-year-old women.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Porky's Revenge. Revenge. All the high schoolers in those movies. I mean, you could see they're balding. I mean, they're that old. Right? It's comical how ridiculous it is.
Pee-wee.
Yeah, Pee-wee. Yeah, Black Roses. I mean, what does it have? This movie has wonderful makeup. Stop motion puppet makeup. I mean, it's wonderful. It takes its time to get to the supernatural stuff. For a while, the movie plays like Footloose crossed with Something Wicked This Way Comes.
Yeah,
and I love that about it. Once it lets loose with the monster stuff, it's interesting because I'm thinking this was probably really shocking in 1988. The gore it's very messy. It's very plentiful. But the creature effects are great. Mm-hmm. I dug the music. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, yeah.
These guys came to my town and be like, oh, yeah, man.
Rocking here.
Yeah, I get it. These guys are great. Yeah. I mean, I don't know about, I don't know if I'm going to join them supernaturally, but can I get the album? Because this is good. Yeah, I like Black Roses. I thoroughly enjoyed it. My favorite bit in the film, I was telling Julia, my wife, this morning about the part that made me laugh the hardest because I just thought it was funny. So the bad guy, once he finally openly admits who he is, and he's in concerts, and all of his followers are watching him, with just like, yes, command me, So the lead singer of Black Roses, he's telling him what he's going to do. He comes up with a plan, and he does it with this augmented voice, like a lot of horror movies do, of course. But then while he's giving his speech, he sees the good guys in the background trying to thwart him, and suddenly the voice goes away. So it's like, we will perish. We will destroy this town. Hey, get them! Like, what? Where'd the voice go?
The cheese laid on thick in this one.
There's some cheese, but I got to say, thoroughly enjoyable. So 3 stars for me. Thank you. Really? I really enjoyed that one. Yes. And before you do yours, per our conversation last time, you said there are 2 films you hadn't seen, so I'm going to load them to you. Joe Dante's Matinee and Brian De Palma's Dress to Kill. So
are these both Blu-rays?
Yep, both Blu-ray. Yeah.
Oh, I won't be able to watch these because I have a Blu-ray player.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Here's the
Let's
thing
see.
about
Is Dress to Kill Blu-ray or is that DVD? It might be DVD. Let's take a look.
It's Blu-ray.
Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
Skunked again.
It's okay.
All right.
It's all right. It is available to watch on Tubi, just with commercials. I don't mind, but Matinee is hard to find on stream right now. So, to tell you the truth, I might borrow this one.
Please. Yeah, borrow it.
Give me that one back.
Shoots. Yeah.
There is a Blu-ray player in the house, and hopefully it works. So, if I have the chance to check it out, I'll give it a watch.
Yeah, let me know. Yeah, it's great.
And
I love it.
I remember this is the more family version of what popcorn had.
Yes.
The idea for popcorn, but
and it's about the films of William Castle. It's a fictional tale on William Castle. But
it's more of like a coming of age story with all the kids that are involved, thinking that a nuclear it's during the Cold War, the early Cold War era.
It's about the fear of a nuclear holocaust, and hey, what a better time to go to the movies, smooch with your girlfriend. If you think the missile is gonna drop, let's have a little fun before that happens.
So, but one thing that I want to get with Black Roses, like you enjoyed this film.
I did.
It's on par with some other slasher horror films that took on the whole satanic panic or the heavy metal music mixed in with horror. Mm-hmm. Black Roses, Trick or Treat.
Trick or Treat.
With a cameo appearance by Ozzy Osbourne as well as Gene Simmons. Mm-hmm. But also Rocktober Blood, which is completely cheesy, campy, hard to follow the story kind of thing. You're going to be watching it for like the pretty ladies and stuff like that with that type of movie. And also I also got just a very just out there. I believe they intended it to be a comedy. It's called Hard Rock Zombies.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, I vaguely remember watching the movie too, but it's about a bunch of guys that go to a town to play at a show and they become zombies.
Sounds good.
But they still play the show. And then some other heavy metal stuff. There was so many that had
Rock and Roll Nightmare is another one.
Rock and Roll Nightmare, and Shock 'Em Dead. I don't know if you remember that one.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
That is with Tracy Lords.
I have seen it. That's why I thought of it. I'm like, is that the Tracy Lords movie? Yeah, that's the one. I've seen that too. Yeah.
So this quite a few, and then leading up to nowadays, there's a cool, more modern metal infused horror film. It's from Europe. I forget where in Europe. I don't know if it's European or if it's from New Zealand, something like that, or British or Australian. It might be Australian. It's called the movie is called Deathgasm, and it's a story of a kid that wants to start his own black metal, death infused grindcore band. He's in love with the more normal blonde girl in school, and the whole town is for some reason people in the town get possessed like Evil Dead style, and they gotta go around killing a bunch of like demon zombies. Yeah.
Deathgasm. Good title.
Yeah, and there's also another like not horror but metal based movie. I forget the name of it. That one might be Swedish or Norwegian. The thing is, the movie is everything that is new in the heavy metal scene. Because I know they did a sequel, and I've seen clips from the sequel, and Baby Metal is in it. You know who Baby Metal is?
The band?
Yes.
Yes.
You do. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yes. The coolest little J-pop metal band ever made. And I can't believe those they're women now, and they're keeping on with that band. I'm like, wow, they're going on with that. So metal infused horror movies and such like that. There's a lot of them to check out. On my part, I went full science fiction this weekend with Strange Invaders. I didn't watch. You wanted me to watch Invaders from Mars too?
Oh no. We can just talk about Strange Invaders. Yeah.
Just Strange Invaders. Is it Paula Matt, Nancy Allen, Louise Fletcher. There's a couple other faces in there that I recognize from other films as well. One of the woman that plays his ex-wife.
Yeah.
She's from Psycho 3, right?
Dana Scarwood, yes.
Yeah. She's
Very
also
good.
in Mommy Dearest.
Yep.
I was like, was this before or after Mommy Dearest?
After.
That is
after.
After
Mommy
really?
Dearest, yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, I remember her from Mommy Dearest.
Fun fact, Paula Matt was the second choice. Do you know who the first guy was who almost played the lead in that movie? Some guy named Michael Keaton.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they wanted Keaton, and apparently the studio's like, we don't know who he is. Hey, Paula Matt, American Graffiti. So out went Michael Keaton. Yeah.
Okay, so my take on Strange Invaders is this is a 1983 homage to 1950s and 60s science fiction films. It's all over the place, but easy to follow, even though the story is kind of there's little plot holes here and there on the idea of why these aliens were here. Yeah. But the whole idea of the movie is that aliens land in a small town in America, and I believe took over the whole town.
Yes.
Yeah, and this Paul Matt's character, his wife is from the town, and they have a daughter together, and I'm guessing the daughter is half alien, half human.
Definitely.
He goes looking for the wife because she's been missing for a couple of weeks. Don't know where the wife is. Go to the town, and all sorts of strange things happen. His dog goes missing. Oh, is it a husky? I couldn't tell. I think it's like a German husky. I thought it was a German shepherd at one point.
I think it's a husky.
But his poor dog, and then you see these aliens shooting electricity out of their hands and blowing up cars and things. I'm like, what is going on in this crazy little town? He gets back to New York. They follow him back. A lot of cool special effects for a PG-rated science fiction film. I was like, this is some horror stuff in here.
Yeah.
Because they're in human form, but they can easily just tear off their human skin.
Yep.
And that was like really, if I watched this when I was a kid, I would have been scarred. Let me tell you that. I would have been scarred. But overall, though, this is rather entertaining. I just like the campiness of it. It's so campy.
Yeah.
It's at times cheesy, but now I'm thinking back to like movies where I watched when I was a kid, like The Earth versus the Flying Saucers and War of the Worlds and stuff like that. So I'm like, yeah, paying homage to that 50s sci-fi tropes really worked well for Strange Invaders. I don't know too much about it though. I didn't really do my backstory on how they made this movie, how it came about, if the producers were actually like, oh, we really want to create a movie where it pays tribute to all the classic 50s and 60s movies. I see some other movies in my time where I'm like, wow, these guys are really trying their best to like pay homage to that crazy stuff. You know, I mean, like you have Tim Burton's Ed Wood, where it's all about Ed Wood and his team of people making the most lowest of budget movies, which seemed to work well. I mean, I did enjoy Planet 9 from Outer Space.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Overall, though, this movie is really fun to watch. A crazy ending, to tell you the truth.
Yes.
You know, and I like the whole idea of how the aliens in this one, they took over the town, but the townspeople were always there. It's just this weird thing where they drain their body and turn them into a life force in a sphere.
Yeah.
And they just collected them, and I guess they were all like held in that little underground thing on the church. I'm like, how did from when they landed to that point, and I'm guessing it's supposed to be early 80s or something like that. Like they created an entire laboratory underneath the church.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
And it's huge. It's a gigantic structure. Yeah. It's the movie is a little logic impaired, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
There is a scene in it because my introduction to the film, I was in college and I bought a copy of it from Blockbuster Video. It was actually not that; it was a VHS. I had a VHS copy of it.
Was a VHS copy with the actual film poster on the cover?
The poster, yeah, which is very much more mysterious. It's not as literal as that.
It's like a cloud with a little alien in the bit.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, it's really cool. It's atmospheric, but it doesn't really tell you everything that the film is about. But there's a moment in the film. It's about, I think, at the hour mark where a man walks into a bathroom and starts to rip his face off and reveals that the alien's underneath. You know, again, this is a PG film. Today it would be PG-13.
That's
easy.
the film. Yeah, so that's the episode I was talking about.
Yeah, it's extraordinary as a makeup effect. I mean, you're wearing this. By the way, you're wearing this wonderful American Werewolf in London T-shirt right now. That is, by the way, that's the movie, folks, that gave us the Academy Award for Best Makeup. That category was invented for that film. For that
Rick Baker.
Yeah, Rick Baker, a genius.
Who also worked on the Thriller.
Yeah, indeed he did. Yeah. So this was the year after that. This is 1983 when this movie came out. And Strange Invaders, it's a cult film now. It didn't really catch on. It was a summer movie. It wasn't able to compete against Return of the Jedi. Imagine that. But it is a wonderful film, and it's because of moments like that. It's got some startling effects. I feel like the movie might have been a little stronger if it was a horror film.
Yeah.
But instead, it's like it wants to be nostalgic about the 50s. It has like not a spoiler, but like it does have a happy ending. It has a feel-good ending, which is fine, but I don't know. I feel like the movie,
I found it very strange, too, is like, oh, so they didn't kill the people in New York City. They just turned them into a sphere, and all of a sudden they floated back to the town.
Yeah, and it has one of these everybody wins kind of endings. I'm like, okay, I appreciate that they want to give it a happy ending. And I guess like The Day the Earth Stood Still, like some of these classic 50s sci-fi movies, it has that. But if the movie had been a horror film, I think it might have been just a little more effective.
Yeah, definitely. Horror sci-fi at best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's got elements of that.
Who is, I forget the name. He is in, like, I should know this actor.
You talking about Michael Lerner?
Yes.
Yeah, from Barton Fink, one of my favorite movies. Yeah, Michael Lerner's in that. It's one of his first movies.
He's also in Princess Bride, Inconceivable. Is that him?
Oh, you're thinking of Wallace Shawn.
Wallace Shawn.
Yes.
He has a bit part as the the landlord or something like that.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
wow.
He's like Nancy Allen's character's landlord in the apartment.
That's right.
I have a strange lady in the bathroom. Can you go and check on her? And he just disappears, and she disappears too. And then the maid in that saw the guy ripping his face off. And she gets turned into a sphere. and just magically they end up in in this town. Like, how did we get here? You know? And yeah, it does have this cheesy, crazy ending to it. It's like, oh, and here's the dog showing up. Hey, dog.
Yes.
Very, very lassie.
Very dream.
very
kind of a dreamlike logic, but yeah.
Here's the thing too. What I noticed about this movie is, I don't know what kind of film they used to film this movie, because it's one of those movies where I've seen a bunch of other movies back then too, the 80s and 70s, where there's a type of glare to the whole film.
Yes.
And it makes me feel nostalgic, because there's a lot of movies that were filmed that way back in the 80s. So, and I'm like, what kind of film did they use to record this movie on? Because it's this glare is now at this point is kind of like, it's very nostalgic to us kids, the 80s kids and stuff like that. So, it has the same 9 to 5 has the same type of glare on the film. So
I think a lot of movies at that time, they were using smoke machines, and sometimes it's that, sometimes it's overexposure, sometimes it's the Tony Scott effect, where every scene has like this neon like glow. The 80s were famous for that. One of my favorite series from that decade was the new Twilight Zone that ran from 1985 to 1988.
All classic.
And they're great. It was a really strong series. Maybe not up to Rod Serling's original, but still terrific. But every one of those episodes, they all look very 80s for exactly what you're talking about.
What is the standout episode from that series, that Twilight Zone series from the 80s? What is a standout episode from?
I'm gonna go with the pilot, which is called Shatterday, and it was directed by Wes Craven, and it stars Bruce Willis. Wow! It's about a guy. He's at a bar. He means to call his girlfriend. He realizes he called the wrong number. He's like, oh, I called my apartment. But then there's somebody who picks up. He goes, hello. And he gets on the phone. He realizes he's talking to himself. There's another version of himself at home when he's not there. Oh. So it's about learning, okay, like, who is your other? There's been movies about this topic. There was a Jake Gyllenhaal film called Enemy, very similar. Okay. But this is dealing with that idea in 60 minutes. And it's quite wonderful. Yeah, Shatterday, the pilot for the new Twilight Zone, directed by Wes Craven.
For me, I don't know what season this was. I don't know what episode it was or the title of it. But it's the tale of a mother that is so stressed, one day finds out she has the ability to stop time.
Yes, that is right after Shatterday. Yeah, that's one of the first ones. Melinda Dillon is the mom. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and I think Craven directed that one too.
He did?
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Oh my God, that is the most suspenseful.
It's so good.
It's so crazy, and then it ends on the whole. Again, it was the 80s. The Cold War was still a thing. And that whole ending where it's like the fear of an oncoming nuclear annihilation.
Yes.
She stops time, and she goes outside, and you see the missile in the air.
The mushroom is about to drop.
Yeah. So I'm like, what?
It's a great episode. Yeah,
I love it.
Good.
I love it. If you get into anthology series, I'm like that. Outer Limits. They even did a remake of Outer Limits in the 90s.
They did.
On Showtime. And as well as Twilight, they came back with Twilight Zone a couple of times, even with the new iteration with Jordan Peele.
Yes.
But, nothing can beat the classics like the original Hitchcock. Hitchcock Presents, Ray Bradbury theater stories. I like those ones too. But Hitchcock I used to watch it when I was a kid. I barely remember all of the episodes that I watched, because it was like a Nick and Night thing where they would show Hitchcock Presents at night, and you hear the do 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 do, and then he shows up, good evening, and tells his story. One of the standout stories from that one is this kid that likes to play cowboys and Indians, and just so happens to have grabbed his dad's actual .22 gun. A pistol, revolver. So he's walking around playing with his dad's real gun with only one bullet loaded in the chamber. And every time he clicks the trigger, you don't know whether or not the bullet's going to shoot.
I haven't seen this one.
Yeah.
Sounds terrifying.
It's a standout. Like, it's the one that's stuck in my brain for the longest time. I would have to go and check each and every Hitchcock Presents episode and read the synopsis for each episode to find out which is that one. But that is the most suspenseful thing I've ever seen. And then when I got older, I'm like, I should actually watch some of Hitchcock's movies. And I haven't yet. Not all of it. I haven't seen like Rear Window. I know it's a
You'd
classic.
like it. It's very suspenseful. I think you'd like it.
But Dial M for Murder, that's Hitchcock, right?
It is. Yeah, it's great.
I recently watched that when I was probably about 5 years ago. Finally, I got it on DVD. I'm like, where has this movie been all my life? This is a very suspenseful crime noir thriller type of movie with I forget the name of the actors in that one. I haven't.
It's one of the first 3D movies.
Did he do North by Northwest?
He sure did. Yep.
Okay. There's another movie I haven't seen yet.
You'll like it. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've seen Psycho, and you've certainly seen The Birds.
I've seen Psycho. I've seen The Birds. I haven't seen other stuff that he made. It's like just you only know Psycho and The Birds. I'm getting there.
There's a lot of movies.
I know it's been about 50 to 60 years, but I'm getting there. All right.
Another one I would recommend is Shadow of a Doubt. Shadow of a Doubt is about a little girl who suspects that her uncle might be a serial killer. Mm-hmm. She loves her uncle, but he might be the guy who's going around killing people. It's great.
Did he do Touch of Evil?
Yeah. That's Orson Welles.
That's Orson Welles.
Orson Welles, and that's my favorite. That's my favorite Orson Welles film, hands
Really?
down. I like it. Most people are very precious about Citizen Kane. I understand, and I love Magnificent Ambersons. Touch of Evil, to me, that's his masterpiece. Yeah,
you gotta check that one out.
Even though it's got Charles Heston as a Mexican. Yeah.
It was a different time back then.
Apparently, and Janet Leigh's in that too. And Orson Welles plays the villain, and he's fantastic in it.
I'm quite sure Boris Karloff played a Chinese man at one point.
The history of Hollywood is full of, everyone's like, Robert Downey Jr. Oh, well, he's not the first one to do something like that. And at least that was a parody. That was a satire. No, there's lots of stuff through the history of Hollywood. It's embarrassing.
Came up in my feed recently. I follow this amazing woman. She's like a documentary film maker in California, and she posted about, and I completely forgot this movie existed, Chaplin with Robert Downey Jr.
Yes, yeah.
And there's a slew of popular names at the time that are in that movie. Yeah,
tons of cameos.
Yeah, I have not seen this movie.
Good.
It's good.
Yeah, it's really good. You should see it. I mean, it's one of these things, if you know about Charles Chaplin, it's like there's a lot of stuff that should be in there that's not, but the movie's crammed. It's 2.5 hours. They cover a lot of ground. And you've got everyone from Dan Aykroyd to Sir Anthony Hopkins to James Woods. I mean, it's an amazing ensemble. But Robert Downey Jr. is extraordinary. It is one of those performances where you forget you're watching anybody other than Chaplin. He's that good. It's an amazing work. Yeah.
Talk about movies like that, man. There's so much movies I have not even seen yet. You know?
Should make a list, buddy. I always make a list. I start in January. It's like, okay, these are 30 movies I need to see, and I try to, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
Well, November is Noir month. Ooh. So I didn't realize that was a thing until I started watching a bunch of YouTubers talking about, November is Noir month.
Where did that come from?
November Noir.
Okay.
I think it sounds good. It
Yeah,
sounds like
sure.
a match.
Sure.
You're getting over Halloween already.
Yeah.
So you get into some, and there's so much that I have not seen myself of it, and I have so much in my collection too. There's all of those. So the name of the company I believe is Alpha Video, and they re-release they have a large array of crime noir thrillers that were released between 30 and 50s. So it's all the I can't name names. It's one of those. There's so much made back then. You would have you think about the Cagney movies, think about maybe Bogart doing some of these movies, but there's so much like Bela Lugosi did a whole bunch of movies where he's he plays the Shadow, and that would be considered noir. It's not Shadow. I think it's the Shadow.
A version of it, yeah.
A version of the Shadow, not the one that we.
Yeah, not Lamont Cranston. Yeah.
So, there's a whole bunch of these movies, and they're in public domain.
Yes. Because a lot of them over 100 years old.
Yeah. I guess just the licensings on them just weren't there. I mean, I understand Night of the Living Dead, George A. Romero then, they didn't know the whole thing about rights and licensings and all that stuff.
And they changed the title and they lost the rights to Night of the Flesh Eaters and all that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they have that. That's always in the public domain.
Yeah.
You know, I posted on Facebook of my collection. And it's all over the place now. I gotta go and like get them back together because I added some more pieces. I'm trying to be the guy on Maui that has the largest Night of the Living Dead collection.
Wow.
So I have like maybe 8 versions of it
on
public domain DVD.
Wow.
3 on VHS. Actually 4, because in the last couple of years I did find the 25th anniversary special edition Night of the Living Dead, where a film company added scenes to it, like
I heard about that. Yeah.
Scenes to add to the movie, new soundtrack. It just goes along, and then all of a sudden you have like other scenes that are like, okay, yeah, that was the one that was shot in 1997 or whatever.
Yeah, it's a mixtape now. Yeah.
Yeah, a mixtape of stuff. It's the thing too, like there's so many people out there that are like collectors and like of media. Like, I'm gonna want these different versions and like that. I'm like, oh my god, I'm in that category of people now, like a fandom where I gotta have. At least I'm not getting different copies of Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
Because apparently Dawn of the Dead is one of those movies where it's now pricey to own.
Yes.
Or to find any copies, whether it be from VHS to DVD to now Blu-ray and 4K, which you gotta like special orders from someplace somewhere for $100-something.
Just to watch a 40-year-old zombie movie.
Yeah. You know, when you can easily watch a director's cut available for free on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, I can watch this for free on YouTube. But just to own, I guess, a collector's version that comes with a whole bunch of like little pouches and stuff like things and like cards and like, oh look, I got a special thing. I last Comic Con I went to, I did find a DVD copy rental from Paradise Video from Alfred. They had it in their collection over there. They were selling.
Thanks, Alfred.
And I was like, Dawn of the Dead, the Anchor Bay release.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. So I picked up on that. So yeah, that's the last thing. But anyways, we got 1 minute left. A lot of things to talk about for next week, hopefully. And
I think I'll be here. I know I'll be here next week, and I think Jaron will too. We'll it's a summer movie wrap up. Summer movie's over, so we'll talk about the summer movies. And you got a summer movie you'll be talking about because you're going to see one of the biggest, most talked about films of the summer.
That's right. Obsession. No.
He's doing a scene, folks.
Anyway, thank you for tuning in today. Keep it locked here for more programming on KAKU 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui. Mahalo, brother. Thank you for coming in, brother.
Thank you.
Brother Barry over here. Aloha, Maui.
Maui County says plans to restore Mokuʻula and Mokuhinia, the sacred royal complex where King Kamehameha II ruled when Lahaina was the capital of the Kingdom of Hawaii, are expected to be finalized in the summer of 2027. The site, once a sandbar island surrounded by a 17-acre freshwater fish pond, now sits under a baseball diamond. County officials say community surveys and public gatherings will begin this summer, with a draft plan expected early next year.
This is KAKU 88.5 FM. I love you. The voice of Maui.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
The Sonic
Oh my God.
Oh my God!